Yes, indeed. It is showtime in the big city. Have I ever told you we got a good one for you? Have I ever used that phrase?
It's you've never said that.
Never said it.
It's been implied.
We got a good one for you. If this doesn't mean the summer series is in full swing, nothing does. Wren Baker, Director of Athletics, Vice President, West Virginia University, in studio with us. It's our, I'm not even going to say annual because he comes in more than annually, and I was trying to do some math. I'll have to go to Conley CPA Group, our accounting firm, to figure this out. Maybe the guest who's appeared the most times who isn't Nathan Adrian, because Nathan was a co-host for a time when Hoppy used to go away.
Yeah, that's not a category. Nate's not in a category.
Nate's not in.
Guest.
He's out.
Right.
So
you Jordan McCabe, Emmett Matthews. I think
he's past. He's past McCabe.
Yeah,
he passed McCabe.
Yeah. I think it's number 5.
Yeah, you're right there then. Yeah, you're right there. So we're going
four solos, and then I did one voyage with Mike Benson.
That's right. Yeah. You were the rare co-host of a guest appearance.
Yeah.
We got a lot to get into. As you may know, things are a little bit turbulent in college athletics. We're going to get into it. 3 Guys Before the Game, brought to us by Gomart. Get yourself that Gomart rewards card. Download the app. Go to Gomart.com for details. Immediately begin saving tens of thousands of dollars the next time you fuel up your vehicle. Maybe a little high. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit. Want to save some money as well? They got that $5.55 combo thing going right now. We'll tell you about that in a little bit. 3 Guys brought to us by Jan Dills, attorneys at law. Like Wren Baker, they won't take no for an answer. They simply don't take no. By Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. And by WVU Medicine, the exclusive healthcare provider for all mountaineers, including you and including Wren. You're WVU Medicine guy.
Actually, Wren is...
You got a file on him.
He's proficient in no. He has to be. With everybody's in his. Once a day, somebody comes in the office and says, Wren, we need. No.
Once a day?
5 times a day.
Hey, I will say this about WVU Medicine before we get started. I'll be 48 this summer, so creeping up on that 5 number.
Still a baby.
Yeah.
Any 3 of us will trade with you right now.
Yeah, so I decided, hey, it's probably time I get one of those like very thorough kind of executive physicals, and they do those. Mayo has several around the country. The Cleveland Clinic does some, but I like talk to my doctor, Dr. Labus, and said, hey, and so they put together a very robust selection of tests, and I went through and had them all done, heart calcium, everything.
Oh, you did that?
Oh yeah, and doing great. So.
You're doing great despite the fact that you eat that Alfredo sauce. Your
that's
nothing's
right.
calcified yet.
That's probably the thing that's turned your health around.
A lot of protein in that chicken. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah. Did they without violating any HIPAA regulations, did they say anything about stress level?
They just said, hey, all of your tests and your numbers are looking really good. Continue to do that. So they didn't really have a stress test per se. My wife regulates that. She tells me that I need to chill out, go take a walk.
Yeah. Well, if they did the calcium thing on the heart, then that means that they did the one thing which bypasses the stress test.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Blood sugar, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he said he's in. He's a picture of health. Look at him.
Yeah.
You're a picture of health.
Yeah.
Picture of health. Montel. Inside joke. You remember that? The clumps.
Oh yeah.
Remember that scene?
Oh yeah.
Ricky Lake, Montel.
Yeah. I love the clumps.
Stedman's a fine looking man. Okay, here we go.
Walk over. You gonna limp back?
As we record, the 5 years to play 5 has been passed. Super huge, man. We are done with having to, do we redshirt, do we not redshirt? We're done with what we saw a lot of this past basketball season, the 26-year-old freshman from parts unknown. You're happy? You like it? What's it all mean?
Are we done?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Let's start there.
Yeah,
Are we done?
I don't think so.
Let's just do 5 for 5 first.
Yeah,
I understand, but go ahead.
So yes, I'm happy about it because I think anything that we can do to gain any sort of clarity on any rule I mean, it just gets maddening to constantly be trying to figure out, okay, is this the rule? Is it not the rule? And I believe I might have said this even last year when we were on, because they were starting to weigh this out. Every youth sports organization, everything under the pro level, but even some of the pros have age restrictions and limits in there. And so it feels like it's more defensible in court. You can't have an 18-year-old playing Little League, and so I think long-term it'll be good. There's certainly going to be an onslaught of legal challenges for people wanting this to apply now, retroactively back to the past year. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens there. But overall, yes, I'm happy about it, and I think it'll be a positive thing.
It is, I agree with you, until, as you alluded to, a fanboy judge says that Brad Howell can play his 7th year.
God, I hope not. That would devastate our program if Brad was playing.
You're right.
You're right. There's
just like
a
fanboy judge can say that Sorsby can play, then why not a guy get his 6th year, 7th year, 8th year?
Yeah. I do think there will be some legal challenges of why this isn't retroactive. But those challenges will occur over a more finite period of time, because you only have really, kids, maybe even over the course of the next year that would be really, I guess, over the course of the past year. So once you get past that, assuming that the legal experts are correct and the rule itself go forward is defensible, it'll give us some clarity.
Are there some unintended consequences there that you would say? Like, if you were picking out what's the problem with this rule, it would be what?
Yeah, and some of those are still being worked out, and it's a nuance that's probably beyond me digging real deeply into. But some of the international kids that maybe go and play in certain leagues, and we're not talking about basketball here. We're talking more like Olympic sports. Some of them don't usually trigger their college eligibility until a certain age, and so there's some things to work through. I've heard some. Natasha Oakes does a good job. Her and Mary of keeping me up to date with how our coaches view it, and we've got a few Olympic sport coaches that have some concerns, but overall, I think everybody agrees this is going to be a better system.
Congress is actually making strides toward some form of legislation. We have talked about this for a very long time, and we often said, Congress is not going to deal with this. Well, they actually have made significant progress. Where do you see this thing ending?
Oh, yeah, I wish I knew. I would say we're closer than we've ever been, and it feels like the Senate votes are probably lining up. I don't know that I would put it in the camp of probable versus not probable. I do think the situation with Sorsby probably brought a different light and attention to if they cannot enforce that rule without interference, there legitimately is no rule that could be enforced without interference from some local judge or local state law. And so hopefully that helps people understand the problem that faces us, and that is that literally any kind of rule, mechanism, system, process that you try to put in place can be under attack in a moment's notice. And so, I've said this a couple of times. I'm now at the place where I don't think it's a matter of if there's federal legislation. I think it is when and what kind. Will it happen now? Will it offer the protections that you hope it is? But I think people are now realizing pretty universally this is not a system that will regulate itself. This is not sustainable.
Nope.
And it is going to do one of a handful of things. It either divert money that could be going for academic programming to athletics, increase the cost of attendance for students because they're having to get some money from investments from campus, or you're going to have to reduce sports or reduce the experience, the quality of the experience in those sports, or ultimately you have to decide that competing at the highest level in athletics is too rich for your blood, and we're gonna bow out and downgrade. And so I don't think people want that. All these legislators from all these different areas and the two parties across the country, I don't think anybody wants that for their institutions in their home state. And so now it just becomes, can we get a law that we can all agree on? And that's going to take compromise. And I see some of the comments coming from the SEC and Big Ten. Well, there are things that are in that law that I don't love that may not be best for WVU. But I think it was General Patton that said a good plan violently executed today is better than a perfect plan always saved for tomorrow. And sometimes you got to go with a good plan. And I think the SEC and Big Ten are seen, whether it's right or wrong, as being the ones driving this thing financially into the ditch in some regards. Some of those institutions in their spending. And so I don't believe that the legislators are going to hand them the pen and let them author the bill that's exactly what they want. I think everybody's going to have to come to the table and realize, hey, there's a greater good here. How can we compromise so that all of us can generally support this and start to build a sustainable system?
Can I ask you some specific questions about the bill and just give me an up or down?
Here we go. Is it from your yellow pad?
It is.
What if he said, no, you can't? What would you do then?
He's going to ask him anyway, because that's what aggressive, impolite reporters do. Yes, sir. Let's go, Hoppy.
So some specific provisions of the bill, because you said some things you like, some things you don't like. I won't go through everything. You can kind of give me an up or down. Limits to one transfer without penalty. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. The eligibility window we talked about. Creates compensation caps.
Yes.
Okay. Conferences could pool media rights.
Fairly indifferent. I don't see what the harm is in having the optionality.
Okay. Gives limited and I think this might be the most important thing, except it's something that's left out and I ask you about. Gives limited antitrust protection to the NCAA or whatever the governing body is, so that they can actually enforce rules and not just have a judge run roughshod over a rule.
Critically important.
Okay. And finally, the fact that what is not in there is player representation.
Yeah. So if I could just pick the 3 or 4 things out that were the most important, it would be the limited antitrust protection so that the national organization can set rules, the transfer limitations, because I don't think that's good for the student athlete ultimately. Mm-hmm. The state preemption, where you can't go and just override it with a state law to protect you. And then I think the fourth piece of that would be a sustainable agent regulation that because that's in
there too.
Yeah, that's a wildly unregulated and very dark part of all of this. And so those are the things I think are the most critical, most of which are contained in this bill. There is some debate about the state preemption piece and what does this do with that? Maybe the antitrust helps with that. But I think for the most part, this has what you would want to have.
But it doesn't have. A lot of people are upset or say the problem is what it doesn't have, and that is player representation.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
The ability for them to have a seat at the table.
Yeah.
I have no problem with them having a seat at the table. I think they haven't had one up to this point, and I would argue that they have currently more rights and less restrictions than any other sports organization in the world. So I don't know that it would drastically change the outcome. So I do not have a problem with them having some kind of bargaining mechanism or the ability to sit and have discussion. But I also know that some people do, and so when you're dealing with a bill, it's kind of where does this land? But the NCAA has been really good. I mean, now if you go look at NCAA committees today, they all have a significant student-athlete representation on that committee.
Let's stay along those lines, but talk compensation for a second, because clearly, yes, that needs to come in some form, and so it doesn't just run away every year as it's doing now. How realistic is that to put in place, especially given if there's no athlete representation there, if you're not restricting compensation in other areas, be it coaches, be it whatever? How realistic is it to then restrict just that particular part of the pie?
Yeah, I mean, I would be in favor of broader compensation restrictions for coaches, administrators, all of that. But because I do think those are also costs that you're having a hard time controlling. I think my argument to that is there really isn't an individual compensation limit in this bill. It's an overall limit, which to me is more fair. You have the ability, if someone is bringing value, to assign whatever value within your total allotment of spend that you see appropriate. It's pretty well the way most leagues do it. And so in my mind, that seems pretty fair. The other thing that's that this allows is the true NIL deals that are not redirects of money that should be going to the campus. The true market-based deals are still allowed. Now, we have not been able to quite wrestle how to regulate that just yet, so I don't know what ultimately that's going to how that rubber meets the road, but there is still that avenue for people to make additional compensation.
Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Jan Dills, attorneys at law. They won't take no for an answer. Here's a client, after having her case closed by Jan Dills, wrote this: I recently had the pleasure of working with Jan Dills, attorneys at law, on my VA benefits case. Couldn't be more satisfied with their services. From beginning, their team demonstrated deep understanding of the VA law, strong commitment to veterans' rights, guided me through the complex process, clarity, compassion, ensuring I understood every step, always available to answer my questions, and provided timely updates on my case. Professionalism and expertise evident throughout. Dedication to achieving the best possible outcome for me was truly impressive. If you or someone you know needs help when it comes to VA benefits or Social Security disability claims or personal injury, contact Jan Dills, attorneys at law. Coming up by July 31, I've got a date for you. Put it on your face. Write this number down. July 31, Hop. You put it across your forehead.
Okay.
That's the last day that you can get a bonus entry into the Go-Mart weekly $1,000 Go-Mart gift card giveaway, plus a one-time 30 cents off per gallon reward. All you got to do is sign up for the app. Check it out. Snacks and a whole lot more. It's Go-Mart's Snackadelic Summer Promotion. Get all 7 tokens, earn 30 cents off a gallon of gas.
You know, I'm a big fan of all of these variations that the Reese's family has come up with. I mean, used to just be one thing, just the cups,
just
and
the
that's
Reese
it.
cup.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, you saw the controversy recently with one of the descendants of the Reese family. He said, hey, no, he didn't go 30. He went full-time out.
Yeah,
he said,
did.
you change the chocolate, put the chocolate back the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So you'll take the big cup with the caramel in it or the peanut butter and jelly flavors?
Yeah,
You'll go that route?
It just is a change every now and then.
Change up.
Yeah. No, I like it. Yeah.
Shapes? Where does Shapes rate?
Oh, I'm a big fan of Shapes.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand. The chocolate's not where it's at anyway. It's in the peanut butter.
I agree.
Yeah. So
Ratio's better in the Shapes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The more peanut butter, the better.
We align a lot on food.
Yeah,
Ren
you do.
and I.
You guys do. Let's talk, speaking of change-ups, let's talk baseball. I know we're all prisoners of the moment, but the College World Series, I think collectively for all four of us, that was a wow. Had you been before?
So I was the athletic director at a Division II school, Northwest Missouri State, hour and a half-ish from Omaha. So I've been to Omaha 8-10 times. We had donors and would do events there. I was AD there a little over 2 years. And went to a couple of games in the College World Series, but first time with my team, first time to go there and stay the night, and just an amazing experience. It lives up to the billing. I always tell my wife, I go to so many sporting events, and so I always tell her when I retire, I think I'm done. I don't know that I'll ever go to another one. I want to watch them on my TV, but I actually told her, I was like, I would come, in retirement, I would come back here and
hang out.
Yeah. The downtown area, it's like it's designed.
Yes.
They always say you don't build a house for Thanksgiving, but I think they built that entire area for one week of a year, and it shows, and it's incredible. It's easy to get to, and you know what? Even though there's a lot of people, I never waited that long to get in a place to eat or anything.
Right.
I could always find a good meal. It was great.
Did Mountaineer fans show up for the event?
Oh
my gosh!
And let me even go back before Omaha, and you're seeing some images up there that are incredible. Our fans showed up. I'm gonna go all the way back to the regional. So I get front row seat, sideline view, in the huddle, sometimes in the locker rooms, to some of the greatest sporting events that you could ever see or feel. I was on the field during overtime of the backyard brawl this year when we won. I was, I was sitting courtside for women's basketball regional that we hosted. Those two games against Kentucky in the regional was as good of a sports experience as I have ever experienced in my life.
You've been to the Final Four too.
I've sat on the bench for the Final Four. Absolutely. Wow. I was a GA at Oklahoma State. I've seen and done it all. There was not the pop and the energy and the buzz in that place when Paul Schoenfeld hit the home run the first game against Kentucky, and then when we walked it off in the second game, I told Steve as we were coming off the field, if you could bottle that up and sell it, there would be no drug addicts in the world, because there's not a better feeling.
That was euphoric.
Than that right there. It's just
joy.
Absolutely incredible.
It was joy.
Unless you were Kentucky, then it was not so joyful.
Those poor buddies.
Postseason baseball, with the stakes what they are, when you're hanging on every pitch and the time between pitches, which allows that drama to build, it really is unlike anything else.
I think that's what it is.
It adds the suspense because you're waiting for
you
the
wait
next
for
moment.
the pitch. The pitch happens.
Yeah.
You get tight for a second, and then the pitch happens.
Yeah.
It's a wow.
And two out of and having double elimination evens the thing out a little bit and raises the drama, because a team can have a really, really good pitcher and then you get shut down. But I agree with you, Wren. I haven't been to nearly as many events that you have, but I was in awe of the events, and then it just carried over into Omaha. And I've said many times, to be a fan is to suffer, but we had this joyous ride for about 3 weeks where there was nothing but pleasure.
Think about what it's done, Wren. We could not get him to our food court the first year when we started it. He would do an Irish goodbye. So he's gone from hanging out at Fine Looking Phil's in the parking lot for 8 minutes. Now, he was like a Walmart greeter in Omaha, just shaking people's hands like it was a wedding reception. It was an incredible metamorphosis because he's found his joy.
Yeah, it's incredible, and you put that on the heels of the experience that women's basketball was two sold out crowds, 14,000 plus. Just the spring and summer for our sports teams, just an incredible experience. And those, listen, I love the super regional games because they were stress free, and we just went in there and just rolled them. And you're going to Omaha, and that's so great and fun. And I loved going to Omaha. But those two regional games against Kentucky, I would guess at this point I'm way into the thousands of games that I've been on the sideline for. Top 4 or 5 I've ever been a part of.
Yeah. What do you want now because of the baseball team's success? In your mind, what do you want to, and how do you continue to evolve this baseball program now?
Yeah, we are exploring a lot of that because when you have momentum, you want to seize it and grow it, but you also have to make sure that you're doing it in a way that financially makes sense and is responsible to everything else that you're doing. And so, it's easy for other people to spend the athletic department's money. When women's basketball had their run, I had lots of messages and people saying, back up the Brinks truck, and then, but we do reward success. I think we've been aggressive. We demonstrate that. We've shown that. We continue to invest every year. But all those decisions are connected, and we don't have the biggest budget in the country. We don't have the biggest budget in the Big 12. And so you're making sure that you're being reasonable and responsible, with a finite amount of resources. Baseball, is likely, never going to be a profitable, endeavor for us. And we know that, and it's not profitable. It might be a couple of baseball programs in the country. Well, now with rev share, and there's probably none, but there used to be like LSU and Arkansas, and
they would make money.
They'd make a little bit or break even. But most people, do not. But you want to try and grow revenues, and you definitely want to try and grow your investment. And so with the additional scholarships we had already committed to, but actually go into effect this year, plus additional investments, will be north of $1 million more into baseball, would be my guess. We're still working through some of that, but will our revenues improve? Absolutely. But I think we've went over the last few years from a couple $100,000 a year in baseball ticket sales to, we'll eclipse $500,000 this year. So it's not going to keep pace. We're definitely going to increase prices, but we're not going to do it enough to probably cover that. And so now you're going to look at, okay, what's other areas? Are there additional sponsorships where we can bring in revenue? Can we build out some additional premium space? But some of those, people will say, well, expand the park. Well, if you take those two berms and you create some premium space, you did not expand the park. You actually are going to, especially on the third base side where it's been standing room only, you go over there and build something, you're going to reduce capacity most likely, because standing room only is most people you can get in. And so we're going to hire an architect and look at everything very intentionally. Where can we potentially expand capacity? Where can we potentially grow premium? If you're, then we'll test donor interest. Because if we can't raise the money to build it, and yes, it brings in another $100,000, but you're spending $250,000 to satisfy debt service on it, that did not help you at all. And so everybody else gets to be emotional and reactionary and just throw things out there. My job is to stay grounded and to look analytically and strategically, and to bring in architects and experts to say, okay, here's all the different, here's our ballpark. Let's look at it. What can we do to improve it? What can we do to drive revenue? What can we do to increase capacity? And in the case of the ballpark, we actually don't own it. The county does. And so, and then there's another tenant in there in the Black Bears. And so it's really a conversation involving three parties. I don't think if we decided that we wanted to do something, it should be 100% our expense. We're definitely willing to participate in that. So it's really a question of, hey, all of us are benefiting from this facility. How can we go in together to make it better? And continue to grow this momentum, because hosting those regionals and super regionals was good for everybody.
You mentioned those additional scholarships, which we talked about last year. What a boon to this baseball program. But how about the biomechanical center and what that potentially does as it gets cranked up here, not just from a development standpoint of current student athletes, but the recruiting tool it provides, potential NIL opportunities with the bio-precision piece of that. How valuable is that to this program moving forward, and how unique is that across the landscape?
Yeah, it's massive, and I want to take a moment here to just talk about we have a unique set of coaches in terms of, Steve is Coach Sabins has been incredible. I said a couple of times, he is this unique combination of blending old school work ethic and values and culture with new school technologies and advancements. And I think he's always eager to learn, always willing to grow, and is always looking for a way to get an edge up. And so, that building Coach Maisie, myself, Steve, we're all, Ken Kendrick and his team were all a part of kind of going through and developing what that project and plan was. But then the implementation on the back end has been a lot of Steve's brainchild. Like he went out and got the guys from BioPrecision to come in and make some investments. They bought additional equipment. They're funding some full-time employees that over there, and they're doing cutting-edge things that is unique. And then I'll give even additional credit to Don Robinson and GBE. We have equity in BioPrecision, so that's a business concept that those guys are growing. You're seeing the fruits of it. And if it takes off, it'll return money to GBE to reinvest in our baseball program. So when you want to talk about this new world of intercollegiate athletics and what does it involve, from the analytics to the commercial business development and equity stake and all of that stuff, it's a really unique partnership, and those Steve, Don, the guys at BioPrecision, they all deserve a huge amount of credit. Those ideas were brought to me, and all I did was say, "Yeah, that sounds good. Go for it."
Yeah.
But that's been a major difference maker.
I think what it does is, in marketing, as you well know, if you're selling the same thing, right, these schools are selling scholarships to high-level athletes. You have to have a unique selling proposition. And West Virginia's unique selling proposition is, come here and we will give you state-of-the-art, world-class development, right?
Yeah.
And that could be that post that you put down that, hey, yeah, geographically, we're not going to get the warmest weather in February than some of those other schools, but come here, right? And I think that can continue. We were over at basketball yesterday, and they're starting to tinker around a little bit over at the Rockefeller Neurosciences Center with some of that biomechanics stuff over there as well for basketball. I think if we can continue to create these special places where we're the hub for development, it will get you kids that maybe you wouldn't get in the past.
Yeah, I agree. And in something that's as competitive as sports, every little 1% advantage you can gain is impactful. And you're just, I would say, our approach over the last 2 or 3 years in things like that, the development of players, and even in terms of trying to grow our budget, is let's not focus on only hitting home runs. Let's just stack single after single, and even to use a baseball analogy, like just a good at bat. Like let's try to make sure we don't swing at bad pitches, and we make sure they give us the right one, and so that's really been, when people say, well, what are the adjustments in this new world? That's been one of our adjustments, is like, let's just try every day to find a way to get something that gets a little more revenue, a little bit better. And you look up and all of a sudden you're stacking some building blocks that are impactful.
Wren, the Board of Governors recently approved a doubling of the Mountaineer Athletic Advantage fee, the student athletic fee to get into sports events, and now it's $500 a year. It was $250 a year, so it's $500 a year. And that's, I think, I was looking around, I think that's about average, maybe above average in the Big 12. But at a time when WVU is trying to increase enrollment, at a time when everybody's concerned about the cost of higher education, what's the justification for doubling of that fee?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I would just say there's some transparency in doing it. You could have just increased tuition a little more and probably done a transfer of some kind. But I think the philosophy of our board, President Benson, our leadership team, has been, let's not hide that athletics is important and we want to make an investment. I would also tell you that there was a lot of there's a lot of presentations and consultants and stuff that come in that are not necessarily athletics driven, and Huron, who's somebody we do a lot of consulting with at the university, had done a fairly robust enrollment kind of presentation that included overall cost to students. And we are still one of the most affordable in the Big 12, one of the most affordable in the region. When you look at where our students come from, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, oftentimes were more affordable than the in-state options that they have. And so there was a belief that, tuition and fees and everything, that there was room for those to increase and still be on the affordable end. There's a lot of discussion on those things, and ultimately they decided on a reasonable tuition increase. I believe the athletic fee was the only fee that changed.
That's correct.
And that was because the market showed that there was this much for fees, and there was a decision made that we would use that with the athletic fee. So that comes with a lot of discussion. One thing we don't do that a lot of schools do, we do not charge our students for tickets. And so, they aren't guaranteed to get tickets for a high request game. It goes to lottery on those sold out games, but there are many games that they get a free ticket, and we don't charge them for that. But there is a lot of discussion, and I know there's debate and there's different feelings on that. I think, the board has made athletics success a priority. We are growing our own revenues a lot, but when you look at campus investments, we're still significantly below the average in the ACC and Big 12 of campus investment to athletics, even though ours has grown considerably over the last 3 or 4 years. And so I think, and then we're still very competitive when you look at the overall cost of attendance for the general student population. So I think we all have to be cognizant of those decisions, but that was not a, back of the napkin, let's do this on spur of a moment. That was several months of studies and discussion, and ultimately arrived at that decision.
With this flurry of popularity of West Virginia from women's basketball, men's basketball, baseball, I'm only just talking about like from winter on, and the country roads phenomenon, right, that has swept the world, literally, I would think enrollment applications will show a significant increase this coming year.
Yeah, I would think so too. I definitely know the views, the impressions, and we all know it. I was telling an AD in the Big 12, he was talking about just how viral everything's been, how great that must be for us. And, I was like, dude, I thought everybody knew we sang Country Roads after games. Like, I didn't know this was like a new thing. We've been doing it for a couple decades. So, I think, I think we all know how special it is, but you can just see when they do the crowd shots, the people singing it and the pride. I mean, and even like when they sing at the World Cup, like it's different because people are singing it because they love the song, but it's different when you see our crowd and people are crying and they're like singing their heads off. There was a shot in one of the regionals where they pan down our baseball line, and some of those guys are singing like their life depended on it. Like you can just tell with all of the energy that inside of them, they're belting it out. I think it's special for people to see the connection that West Virginians have with the institution, the athletic department, our teams, but also the connection that our student athletes have with being here. And I think it's good for enrollment. It's good for recruiting prospective student athletes. But I also believe it'll have a positive impact on people's interest and visits to West Virginia.
Yeah, I think so.
Attention real quick, Tony, before you read that, just one last point on that. What struck me most about that run of Country Roads was when Cal Poly fans, if you go back and watch Cal Poly fans in the stadium looking at them, multiple, I'm not talking one or two, multiple had their phones up filming the stadium singing Country Roads. Yeah. When your team has just gotten drilled like that and you're willing to film and video the response from the home crowd, you've got something pretty special there.
During the rain delay, one of the Cal Poly kids was standing outside their dugout, and I walked by, and I just struck up the conversation with him for a little bit. And I said, I hope people have treated you well here. He said, and he's a California kid, West Coast kid. He goes, it's been incredible. He goes, I'm a senior, and he said, I wasn't ready for my career to end, but if this is how it ends, this has been an incredible experience, incredible environment. People have been great. And so I thought that was awesome to hear. And, I'll just talk a little bit about the Country Roads moment and give a little credit to Tom Hart, who was the play-by-play guy during the regional. So we knew each other a little bit. He's a Missouri alum, and I was a deputy AD at Missouri. And so he got my phone number from Barry Odom, who's a Missouri alum and the head coach now at Purdue. Barry's a good friend. And so he had connected with me on his way in. We swapped. I'd give him some restaurant stuff and a little tidbit information. So after we won the first night and we're seeing Country Roads, they go to an interview and they're playing Country Roads in the background, and a bunch of fans dogpile them on social media about how dare you be talking over Country Roads. But the truth of the matter is they don't own the rights to air that song, just the song. Wow. Right? They have to pay to do that. So they can do an interview and it's playing in the background, but they can't just go quiet and air the song. So Tom goes back to his producer and says, "Hey, if they win, tomorrow night, we gotta just let the song play." And he's like, "Well, we don't own those rights. It's like $6,000, And these guys are doing enough broadcasts all over the country. Like those things matter. As you guys know, there's somebody back in Bristol making those decisions. It's not. It's why
the John Denver Trust currently is valued at $200 million because of that. Yes.
And so I think between Tom and the producer, they just decided, kind of spur of the moment, that they were gonna go with it.
Do it and apologize later.
If we get fired, we get fired. I think everybody at ESPN was very happy with that decision. But just a huge credit to him to recognize the night before that was special, to take feedback, and not to profile play-by-play guys. A lot of them are kind of ego guys that think they need to describe the moment. Like the humility it takes for him to just shut up and let the moment happen and the crowd shots happen. Huge credit to him. I've texted him multiple times. I actually talked to him on because he texted me on Friday the World Cup clip, and I just called him. I was like, "Dude, I was like you're that one little moment for you did so much for West Virginia, but also so much for just the sports trend of the summer."
He was also the one that encouraged Armani to sing while he was waiting for his interview, which I thought that was a great touch. You talk about kicking Country Roads up a notch. You got the player of the game that just did that, and Armani's belting it out while on the microphone. I thought the whole thing was a stroke of genius.
You said he went to Missouri?
He did.
Couldn't get into Syracuse, huh? Apparently.
Some people would say Missouri's better.
Missouri
J school
has a very good J school.
Maybe better than Syracuse.
By the way, but I think that's recognition. I mean, television recognized, or those you put a face on it, thank goodness for that, is that recognize that's a moment.
Yeah.
Okay. You're doing broadcast and you're waiting for something that reaches people. That was a moment. They understood it. It was captured. It made a gigantic difference.
Listen, those two guys. So Jensen was the color guy. They were caught up in it. I sent Jensen some gear afterwards because he was.
You sent him a lot.
Yeah, and dude, he's
more than you've ever given us.
Yeah, he's sending me pictures watching the game. He became a fan, and you're talking about people. He played at Vanderbilt.
He was a big fan. Interesting connection though. Randy Mazie recruited him.
Yeah,
Randy recruited Jensen.
Didn't get him.
When he was at Clemson.
Yeah.
Wow. Or TC Clemson?
Yeah, I think he was at Tennessee, wasn't he?
Oh, Tennessee. It was Tennessee. Yeah, recruited Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild.
Brad's never been one to let facts get in the way of a good story.
I recruited Jensen's the headline there.
I'll give you some facts right now. Go to Tudor's Biscuit World, and for $5.55. So what I'm saying is, if you give them $6, they'll give you 45 cents back. And you know what you get? You get a choice of 5. Breakfast time, gas prices too high, $5.55. You get a choice of one of the 5 most popular biscuit sandwiches. 12-ounce coffee or a 20-ounce iced tea, soft drink, only $5.55. I mean, we're talking the Dottie, the Mary B, the Peppy, the shaved ham melt. When everything else is getting more expensive, Tudor's wanted to bring back real. Get the 555 special. Three Guys also brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. A lot of confirmation when we were in Omaha that a lot of the boats that we were seeing in basically general Nebraska waters, all Lou Wendell pontoon boats, people, they either took them in through the docks through Missouri. I mean, you're familiar, Missouri, but they were all Lou Wendell boats that were there. And someone did tell me at one of the events at the sports bar that we were at that they did confirm for me that all of the pontoons you ever see in a James Bond movie are Lou Wendell pontoon boats.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you'd like to jump in, they've been in business for over 40 years, located in St. Albans. You can visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Selection right now at the peak boating season is good as it will be all year long. Supplies, service, you name it, Lou Wendell Marine Sales.
So let me ask you about the Brendan Sorsby thing.
Oh, no.
All I do is ask relevant questions about things that are in the news.
Also, you attack Brad. Brad's
I
questions aren't relevant.
I thought we were going to talk more about my side-by-side and
we'll get there.
All that kind of stuff. But let's go.
Well, I mean, the problem went away, but it didn't because supplemental draft. Now there's not going to be a supplemental draft, but it dissipated, but it still exists because of what I said. The federal judge stepped in and said that, we don't care what the rules are, that Sorsby can play. So I know that the athletic directors want a conference call with the commissioner, and the league decided through the board of directors to say, we're going to prevent him from playing. We're going to enforce league rules and prevent him from playing. But look, can you just give me the tone of that conference call with the commissioner where you all talked about this, and what concerns, if any, you expressed in that meeting?
Yeah. So I think the tone of that has been exaggerated some. Some people have said it's was very spiteful and contentious, and I think people took the opportunity to express their views on the issue, but it was done in a somewhat respectful way. I'll talk a little bit about what the views I expressed were. Sure. I won't share other people's because that's really fine. Mine to share, and it was a confidential meeting, and the ADs ultimately didn't have a say in this. It was the president. Right. I just said, one, I was very sympathetic to the young man. I've had a couple of family members close to me who've battled gambling addictions. It's a real thing, and it is something that once it has a grip on you, like any other addiction, it is very difficult to break. And so I understood the position of wanting to support and help a student athlete, a member of your program. But I was concerned about the precedent. The one thing that we've always had to protect the integrity of gambling in sports is at any level, if you bet on your own team, the penalty is very harsh.
It's clear, and it's clear.
And it's been very clear. And so forget somebody who's making millions of dollars to play. What does that do for the various prop bets and different bets that are developing on different markets that individuals can influence? Who's going to shoot the first shot? Things like that. If the penalty is not very, very severe, and I thought that needed to be weighed with how the league moved forward in the discussion.
So you supported him not being allowed to play, or you thought he should not be allowed to play?
I thought that the ruling that he was ineligible from the NCAA was the correct ruling, and I was worried about the Pandora's box that would be opened up if that ruling did not stand.
Got it.
Football season fast approaching. In your mind, when you're driving around your side-by-side, and football comes into your mind while you're driving through the hills and the hollers, what are your thoughts? What are your hopes as we get ready for season 2 with Rich and the new gang?
Well, I'm very excited. It's the team has a different look, a different feel. There's a different energy and excitement, and you can even see it in Rich. And then our distinguished offensive line coach, Coach Trickett. So I actually was at an event the other night. Coach Trickett was there. My wife met him for the first time. She kind of fell in love with him. He was actually very positive about the fellas.
Had a conversation with him yesterday about really getting the first chance to meet you and your wife.
Oh, he's a fan of Heather's.
Oh, he's a big fan of yours, but he really likes Heather.
Yeah,
he's P1 when it comes to Heather.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm a little worried because Heather, she has always thought Sean Connery's a good-looking man. I don't let her hang out with Hoppy much. He's got this distinguished, good-looking gentleman. I after a little bit, I went and stood in between her and Coach Trickett. Like, hey, I'm getting a little gray too. So
tell you what, his group looks really impressive right now.
Yeah,
and I know they're in shorts and shirts, but they look night and day difference from what that group looked like a year ago.
And I think they're developing a good culture. So one of the first regional games maybe is when we were playing Kentucky the first time. But I was walking out of I sit in the radio booth.
Yes.
These guys know that, but it's like the only place I can go and not hear fans try to coach and umpire, and I love fans. I love you all, but
not all at the same time.
Yes, yeah. Calling balls and strikes from Randy's Ridge. I'm like, just relax a little bit up there. But so I was walking out. I always have a routine. Somewhere between middle of the 7th, middle of the 8th, I will walk down out of the radio booth, and then I make my way down to the near our dugout, and ultimately, kind of in the 9th, I'll finish the game at the end of the dugout there. And especially for winning, I'm sticking with my routine.
Sure.
I'm wearing the same stuff.
Yeah.
I'm eating the same stuff at the exact same times. Why mess with it?
Yeah. Right, you're nuts. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so anyway, I walk out and I look at the hill for a second, and I see a whole bunch of our football players out there with their tarps off, going nuts on Randy's Ridge. And so the next day I was talking to Rich, and I was like, dude, and he was like, oh yeah. He was like, they were calling me in the 9th inning saying, Coach, can you get us in? He's like, hey guys, it's the 9th inning. I was like, you could have given me a little heads up. But, but I said that just say, I think the culture they're developing, and the culture they're with each other and with the state, I think Rich is doing a good job with that.
Yeah, I agree.
How about let's talk a little bit about Pat White's number getting retired.
Yeah.
That was big news.
Yeah, so that happened a few weeks ago. The committee, we had talked about even a couple of years ago, re-looking at the criteria, because, I would hear occasionally, hey, we really should retire Pat's number, and the criteria was not such that could happen. And for people at home that may not know, to get your number retired, you have to be a pro or college Hall of Famer. And to be a college Hall of Famer, you had to be first team All-American. And it's crazy that Pat wasn't.
Insane that he was not.
But he wasn't. And so the committee looked at that, and there were some other criteria that they looked at, like national all-time statistic leading stuff. And so now there's another mechanism to consider. And that allowed Pat to be reconsidered. And then it was a unanimous, short conversation. Everybody on that committee was really excited about doing that. And so I've kind of had that in my hip pocket and was thinking when would be the right moment to do this? We want it to be special. And so actually when we won the regional that Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, I get a FaceTime from Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee doesn't call. He FaceTimes. So if you try and call him, he'll deny your call and then FaceTime you back if he's able to take the call.
He's a FaceTimer.
Yeah. So we're talking and going through stuff, and he's like, hey, I want to come. Do you know when we're going to play yet? And we didn't at the time, but long story short, once we knew he was coming, I called Rich, because Rich knew that this was something. I was like, hey, what do you think about, could you call a team meeting, let Pat McAfee talk to him? They'd be excited to hear from him, and then maybe you and Pat together let Pat White know. Rich was all in, and so from there he kind of organized the rest. And so for the people who were like, well, why would they do this on this day? It was because we wanted it to be a special moment for Pat White, more than just the public. We wanted him to be able to have a moment he would remember. And then once that moment happened, you've lit a fuse on the news. It's getting out, so you might as well go with it. And so that's kind of the way that all come together. But it's going to be so exciting. And there's probably one or two other little nuggets of recognition that'll come with that as we get closer to the game.
Throwing hints
now. Some good synergy there. It's happening on September 5th. The 5 and the 5 with Pat White. That's a nice little bit of synergy.
Yeah, a little synergy there. So it should be a very exciting game, and it'll be a great day to honor not just one of our all-time greats, but I think one of the greatest dual-threat quarterbacks in the history of college football.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
He won 4 consecutive bowl games. 4 consecutive. And by the way, it was an offensive genius by Rich. Pat White drops back. Pat White doesn't see anybody. What do you do, Brad?
Take off.
Pat White takes off. You would just, when you watched his games, you would just say, "Well, okay, he'll do something here in a little bit." He'll take off. I mean, we got spoiled by what Pat White was able to do game in and game out.
There's 2 guys that have played since I've been here that when it's 3rd down and longer than 10, you don't really sweat. And it's Major Harris and Pat Pat White. I mean, they just found ways to make plays more times than not, right? And when Pat first took the field, when Adam Bednarik was injured in the famous Louisville game, he inherited like a 3rd down and super long. They convert, and the rest, as they say, is history. Staying on the topic of football, your plan still is to implode the football press box upon end of season?
Will the press be in there when you do that? We should have
that. Could be arranged. That's the goal. Yes. So $156 million project. We have passed the 2/3 mark of fundraising for that. We still have a little bit to go now. An alternative, and what most people do in projects like this, is fundraise a significant portion, then they would bond out the remaining amount and then pay the debt service out of the increased revenue. Our goal is, and it's a very ambitious goal, I'm unaware of very many people who've been able to do a project of this size and not incur any long-term debt. Our goal is to raise all the money, have it coming in over a 5-year period, and only take out short-term debt that's all paid off over those 5 years. About half of those will be during construction, right? A couple of those years. And then you get to the end, and that $5-6 million annual revenue lift all rolls to your bottom line to be able to put into the programs. And so that's our goal. That goal is attainable, but still, still ambitious. We've got a couple of big asks out that we're working fervently on, but we're really, really excited about it. And the appetite has just been incredible. I mean, we started with 4 founder suites, and there was some people questioning if there'd be a market for those. It's a minimum $5 million gift. We currently it then expanded to 6, then expanded to 8, and 7 of those 8 are sold. And so I think that's a pretty incredible accomplishment. So great job by our staff.
Yeah, to pull this thing off, this would be akin to what TCU did with its founders. I mean, that was about the same amount of money that they got it ahead and then did their renovation on their stadium. Give me your take on how basketball reseeding either is going, has gone. Where do you think? Because that was a massive project.
Yeah, and not a fun one, right? Like anytime you start to move people's seats, you make some people upset. And I always tell people, like, the last thing I like to do is go to the grocery store and get accosted by somebody for moving seats. And so I would not do it if I didn't feel like it had to be done to compete in this modern world. And so, but just to let people know out there, if you don't reseat occasionally, you don't incentivize any giving in today's world. And so there's inflation, the amount of the cost of everything changes. And so if somebody gave you $100,000 20 years ago and that got them this seat, but you could get a donation of $500,000 today, like at some point you have to. And then the other problem we had was we had all these little ticket cabals where people had went in together to buy these tickets, and so we really need people to have their own individual accounts, so we know like that data is important when you're trying to figure out where do we get money and revenue from. And so overall I think reseeding was a success. The further you go in it, the less points in lifetime giving and current giving people have, and so those people tend to be a little bit more unhappy. But the conversation I've had, even if people weren't happy that their seat was moved, they kind of understood. And I just try to remind people we're the last in the Big 12 to reseat, so we had been the longest period of time. And there are people in the country who reseat every year.
Amazing.
Every year.
Wow.
And so we're thinking 4 to 5 year blocks of time. So I think our staff did a really good job, even though those are uncomfortable conversations to have. And I understand. So I told one lady, I said, my stepfather was a season ticket holder for Oklahoma, OU football for 35 years. And they did a reseeding, and he had retired, and his income level was different, and it didn't. It actually, they did a repark, and they pushed his parking out, and he has Parkinson's now, and so like he had to drop those tickets because he can't walk that far, so like I too understand, but in this world where it takes money to compete, period. I've said it before on here. We are not in a position to forego revenue when there's revenue to be had. We're just not.
Can I tell you something?
Yes, sir.
So, I've asked you some questions maybe you weren't completely comfortable with, but you answered. But I was, I've seen a lot of highs and lows over the years, and I was with these guys. I was deeply, deeply moved by what I saw in Omaha and in the regionals. And when you look at the totality of what's happening with the athletic department now, with the Olympic sports, with the coaches you have in place, with what Coach Hodge is doing and I think going to do, with what is happening with football, with the improvements you're making at the stadium, I feel like we're entering a new golden era of WVU athletics. And you're a huge part of that. I think you're the right guy at the right time when it's a very difficult time in athletics. And tough decisions have to be made. You have to have vision. You have to make tough decisions. And I think I think that we're at a very good spot, Brad, to be relevant and remain relevant going forward and to excel.
So along those lines, let's take it basketball specific for a second, because that giving that you're talking about is so impactful and meaningful moving forward. And I think we saw that this offseason with what Ross and staff were able to do in terms of going to get some talent, some high-end talent coming in. So start with, I guess, Ross returning for year 2 might be the best portal get we've had over anybody.
Over the last 5 years.
Then you add some talent back into that. You saw how basketball ended the season last year. So just give us your overall thoughts on where that men's program is. We'll talk women in a second.
Yeah.
But start with men and where they are.
Yeah, so I'll circle back shortly to basketball. But, Hoppy, I would just say to your comment, I do take a lot of pride in where I think we're at and where we're headed. Just the way that you're wired when you do this and you compete. I have not let myself think that we've arrived or we're entering golden era, because it changes every day.
Sure.
And if you'd asked me March 1st what our basketball roster value needed to be, and then where we ended on June 1st, it was a drastically different picture. And like, there's some days where there's a knock at the door. I'm like, I swear, if somebody comes in here and tells me we need more money today, I'm going to lose it. But pretty well every day there's somebody knocking on the door. And so you're just always striving to make sure that you're doing whatever you can. And you know that you can't, there's never enough to give everybody everything. And so you're just trying to make sure that everybody has a that they're going to battle with a reasonably competitive resource pool. And when we started this in December of 22, we had a long ways to go, and we still have a long ways to go. We've made up a lot of ground. And
but do you feel it's ascending?
I do.
In total?
Yeah, like you're chasing people who are chasing people, right? So no one's waiting for us to catch up. But if you look at where we rank in the conference, we went from bottom to we're past the middle, moving towards the top third in terms of overall resource allocation. And so, but those other people, the people that we've passed, they don't like that we've passed them. So it's just a constant thirst for more, and athletics has always been that way, but certainly with this with the roster dollars being like they are, it's more than ever before. Coach Hodge has done a remarkable job. I'd have varying levels of knowledge when I go and watch a sport. Now, I know culture, I know discipline, I know leadership because I watch that every day from a ton of head coaches and have for 20 years. In terms of my understanding of the schematics and the strategy of every sport, is different for some sports. And basketball is the sport where I am the most comfortable because I coached it. I was around it. I worked 4 years for a Hall of Fame coach in Eddie Sutton. So I'm not an expert. As I tell Coach Hodge, if I knew more than him, I'd have his job. He makes a lot more than I do. But I do feel like I've got a decent knowledge base when watching the game and understanding what's trying to be accomplished. And those guys did a really good job with what they had. And they did a great job with culture and assembling pieces. Ross is very intentional about not just acquiring talent, but acquiring the right kind of personal makeup that fits what he wants to do. And so I think this should be a really, really exciting year. I can't wait just as a basketball fan to watch Miles. I think he's going to be a really great player. I'm really excited about where we're headed.
Real quick, too, just as a side note, NBA draft came up recently. If you look at the talent, I think we knew this going through this. I think as you continue down the years, you're going to look back at last year's Big 12. That's as good a league. This has been the best league in the country since West Virginia joined it. Last year was an exceptionally good year, and you can just look at where the draft picks were in the recent draft to tell you that. I think as we go back and examine where West Virginia landed in year one with Ross to get a bye in the first round of that tournament, I think that's going to be something that we continue to look back and say, that was a pretty good accomplishment there, given Absolutely. What the league looked like. It's always going to be good. Yeah. Last year, I think, was an unusually high-level talent Big 12.
You could make the case individual talent-wise, best since West Virginia's been in the league.
Yeah,
I'm
not sure it's an argument. Yeah. I'm not sure that's an argument.
9 first-round picks.
Correct.
2 out of the first two.
4 in the top 10. 2. It was a remarkable league, and to finish where we did, one game away from the tournament.
How'd those top 2 picks do in Morgantown?
Both took L's.
Took an L.
Yeah.
Well, the Grim Reaper's Ross. I mean, he ends coaches' careers. I mean, if you take a look at some of the things he's done, he puts guys into retirement.
One guy took himself out of the game at a critical time.
Yeah.
In that game.
Just an incredible coach who I have the utmost respect for, but who I imagine upon retirement will make no additional visits to Morgantown.
William Self.
Coach Self.
Yeah.
I bet he's had enough.
It's been a difficult venue for the Jayhawks over
we
the
go
years.
There this year.
We go there this year only. They don't come here.
We go there this year.
Women's basketball?
Yeah, let's talk women's basketball. What a remarkable tenure for Mark Kellogg, but capped off last year with the hosting of the regional and just insane sold-out building. You talk about great atmospheres in baseball, and it was. That Coliseum atmosphere for those games was pretty intense.
Yeah, incredible. You ever go watch a Major League Baseball game and just it's amazing how routine they make like hard plays look?
Yes.
Like that's what Mark Kellogg does. Like he just makes a really hard job in a really hard league look kind of easy. Like, I mean, and like, he loses a bunch of players and you think there's no way we're going to replace JJ, and like he, just finds a way, man.
What
like
a class he put together here.
Yeah. He's a winner. He's a great person. He's low maintenance, for the most part. He's just, another example I use sometimes, I think, is a father once you have, or a parent, once you have kids, you just want to know when you lay your head down at night, your kids are going to make the right decision. And like Mark Kellogg, you just know is going to, I'll never lay awake at night wondering like, is he going to do the right thing? He's going to do the right thing. He's going to do it very well. He's going to represent us very well. He's got a great family. He's been a wonderful addition.
Some of the other Olympic sports, I think Coach Dan Stratford with men's soccer, he and Sean Cleary lowest maintenance among your worries.
Yeah, they're great people. Like Coach, I don't know that Coach Cleary's ever asked me for anything. Like
nothing, not even nothing
like
at all.
He's like all timer, like
shirt, T-shirt, or anything.
I mean, like
just goes and pops out Olympians.
Yes, Coach Stratford's been awesome. I could go down the list. I mean, I'm excited about what Coach Greeny's, building. Britt McDonald, our swim coach, is getting that program turned around. Coach Izzo Brown continues to do what she does and just wins every year and puts us in a place to have successful postseason.
John Hammond, another World's Championship.
World's Championship.
I mean, just wins them. Like,
stacks them.
He'd been to the White House for. That wasn't his first.
No big deal for him.
Yeah, it wasn't his first time. That was an experience.
That's right. We haven't talked to you since you went to the big house.
Yeah.
Kind of wild, huh?
It is. It was wild.
Excuse me for asking this. Was West Virginia, were they doing other sports teams that
day?
Okay.
Yeah. So you all show up and they assign you a room. We had the blue room in the center.
You didn't get the Oval Office?
We did not.
Okay.
So the room where they put the White House Christmas tree, the room when he walks out when the president walks out onto the steps, like we were in that room.
Cool.
They come in and they kind of show you like, all right, here's how we're going to do this picture. Have everybody get in a place. Then you can leave the podium, but like have it set where when he comes in, he's like, gets in and out.
Boom, boom.
But it was really cool. He had you could tell all the kids were, even the international kids, and a lot of those were really blown away with the opportunity to be in the White House and to get that honor. So that was a cool experience for me personally, but also for me getting to see them go through that.
You talk about once in a lifetime.
And we were by far the best dressed team there.
Phil take care of you guys?
Fine looking Phil.
Oh, Phil had the rifle team too. So Phil doesn't matter what sport it is.
Doesn't matter
Phil.
what
He'll
sport.
dress anybody.
If you need to look good, you just go see Phil, and he takes care of it. Rifle team was going to a big event, had to get outfitted, took care of it, handled it. By the way, that's a nice shirt from Phil right there, hanging on the rack right now. Hoppy, my shift earlier this week, I just hung a couple of those up. If you're interested, you can go in and get that.
It's got the Jerry West throwback logo.
Yeah.
That's a good one. This is a new. By the way, this is a new one.
That's a new one. This is a new one.
This is a new one. Yeah, just out here in the last week.
I mean, him and Gucci. I mean, they just design stuff.
This is an old favorite here.
It's a good one. Stand by. It's great.
I thought so too.
That's like
he's got the Kansas State throwback.
When they have a new disease and they identify patient one, that's like patient one right there. That shirt. That was the original Three Guys.
It's true, Hop. It was.
Looks great.
It was a little bit of a questionable decision to go light on light. Go back to Hoppy there on the screen. You see how that white on that light? You probably should have went black with the threading there. It's a little hard to see, a little hard to distinguish.
Wren's got a design.
If Tony was calling play-by-play, he would not be able to see the numbers good.
No, I would complain about that.
I can see that clearly. I think it looks really good.
Too. I don't know what his problem is.
I mean, I'll trust Phil with what he puts together for the combinations.
By the way,
all due respect for it, of course.
This is if I'm correct, this is a three guys program, and one of us is wearing the Three Guys logo.
Yeah. So
I'm over here defending you. You're going to take shots at me?
You mentioned
I'm over here trying to help you out. So, okay, Wren, you're exactly right on everything you just said.
Yeah, probably shouldn't have included you in
You
that.
mentioned that you were hanging out.
Thank you.
You mentioned you were hanging out in the radio booth during baseball. So just you and Andrew and Jake. What's the mood inside that? Because we had Junior on from Omaha, and a rare appearance by him. So how's it? What's the mood in that booth when those guys are doing those big time games?
Well, first of all, I think they get a little annoyed with me because I'm trying to get commentary from them away from the commentary. So they're trying to do their job, and I'm like, and so we got the little TrackMan on my phone sometimes up there, and I'm like, that was not a strike, so they're probably just like, hey, there's one rule in here, like, shh.
Yeah.
But I've learned Junior's mechanisms, and reactions, and it it's pretty funny. Like, I won't call out any names, but if we have a pitcher who might be struggling to have control, throwing some balls, you would never hear it on the air. But he definitely is. It's a good thing there's not a live camera.
Now wait a minute. Hang on a second, because I was there in the booth for a couple of those regional games, and you're right in the middle.
You sit between them.
You get between them, like you elbow your way into the middle.
Well, you can't. If you see it back, you can't see over the counter.
Can't see the plate.
All right, you're sitting in the middle.
So I'm not trying to like.
And of the three, you are the most animated. Of the now, truth. You're the most animated.
Truth revealed.
That is the truth. And Hoppy knows this because he was standing in the back. I mean, when we're at bat, I turn my hat on backwards.
Yes.
And if it worked, I do it again.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Baseball brings out some stuff, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting worse about that kind of stuff the older I get. Like, you would think I would be like, I would know by now. It has no impact, and it's like the older I get.
No impact? Like, of course it does.
This killed me. This playoff, this tournament run. Like, dude, I was dying. My wife said, "Dude, are you crazy?" Because when I do a game, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But when you're watching one,
wait a minute. I listen to you.
Yeah.
You're invested.
Oh, sure. I'm not saying that I'm not invested. It's easier though when I'm doing the game than just watching a game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier to coach a game than it is to watch.
Than watch it. I mean, absolutely.
But you watch that and all the cutaways to Coach Saban's.
He's a chill dude, man. He's a chill dude.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's a chill dude. Three guys brought to us by WVU Medicine. As you well know, don't need to tell you, if you've got some or if you've got grandkids, kids are active. Sometimes injuries happen. WVU Medicine, Golisano Children's, their orthopedics team specializes in caring for growing bones, joints, and muscles.
You think they stock antivenom there?
Oh, yeah, you had some snake situation. We're going to get into anti-venom. He's been into these rattlesnakes.
I just need to make sure they keep some.
They have it.
What now?
They got it in some shelves up there for sports injuries, fractures to scoliosis, complex conditions, advanced treatment with a gentle touch. Call 855-WVU-CARE or schedule an evaluation at WVUkids.com. So what's up with these snakes?
Yeah, what's the deal?
Well,
is Hodge having any up there too?
He actually did have one a day or two later. Yeah,
because you're up in the mountain there.
Yeah, so I'm up on top of a mountain, beautiful place, beautiful views. But across, I back up to two things: Cooper's Rock, State Forest,
two snakes there,
and Snake Hill Wildlife.
That might be appropriately named.
Might be a tip off.
So, listen, I grew up in Oklahoma, and I grew up on, as I like to say, 80 acres, 8 miles from town. Town was 800. It was 40 acres when I was growing up. It's 80 now, but or actually, I guess 160 now because my grandparents had 40, my dad bought 40, and then I bought 80. So, like in total,
160.
160.
Keep the surface rights.
Yeah. So, and so anyway,
mineral rights.
I've killed a lot of snakes in my life.
How do you normally do it?
However I can, either a hoe, a shovel. I have shot them. One time, Heather and I were walking, and there was a copperhead, and I found a big rock in the ditch and smashed it that way.
One shot.
Yeah,
good.
Listen, but when I was younger, I was one of those kill every snake guy.
Sure.
Now I don't kill non-poisonous snakes, and I know I'm very good. 98% accuracy, I would bet. If you showed me 100 pictures, I'd get 98 of them right on American snake.
Which are you better
at? On the show.
Are you better at snake recognition or cloud recognition?
Comparable on both.
98% accuracy on cloud composition and on snakes. Okay, go ahead.
So I've gotten aware I don't ever kill a non-poisonous snake, and I don't kill a poisonous snake if I just see them out somewhere. Hey, you don't bother them, they don't bother you.
Just living their life.
Yeah. But this last weekend, Father's Day weekend, Saturday, I'm out spraying weeds, and I have the most amazing West Virginia wilderness stories, but this is true. So I'm 20 years at war with moles and gophers.
Oh yeah, they can't do anything about them.
And I mean, I've bought traps. I've hired people. I paid a guy in Texas one time like $2,000, and he didn't guarantee to catch it, and he never caught it.
Never works.
You know, this was like
So this is a
months.
multi-state issue?
Oh, yeah, because I really care about how my yard looks. And the only thing I've ever found that helps at all is I just put out enough grub poison to kill grubs for 20 miles. And then that kills the worms, which is their primary food source. And then they go away for a while until they come back.
So you get a pretty big spread.
Yeah. So if there's anybody growing an extra leg or something out of my neighborhood, it's probably the amount of grub poison I put out. So I'm like spraying, and I see the earth moving. Oh. And there's a gopher hole next to this one, but he's doing another one. So I'm like,
got something.
You ever seen the movie Friday?
Yeah.
He's like, that's your ASS, Mr. Postman. Like I was like, that's your bad right there, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I go in.
Nice life.
I open the door. I told Heather, hey, get a shovel and come out here. Heather's like, well, I need to go change first. I'm like, I don't have time for that.
No,
like I was like, never mind. I don't need your help. Now I'm kind of frustrated.
I gave her a never mind.
Yeah, I'm like, never mind.
I'll handle it.
I got it.
Does she have snake killing clothes?
I'll take care of it.
So I go
snake outfit.
No, I mean, right now we're just killing a gopher.
Yeah, this is gophers. The snake hadn't even arrived yet.
Okay.
Oh.
So stay with the story here. This is gopher rodents.
So I go and get the shovel, and I'm patiently standing there waiting for the earth to move again. I'm like, man, I might have missed my chance. Now I hear a dang door open, and Heather, I'm like, get out. Hey, you missed your chance to be a part of this. Like now, don't scare him off. So she's frozen, and I'm just standing there waiting, and it starts to move again, and I just hard as I can bury the shovel in the ground. I got him. Okay. Yeah. So I'm like, now you can come. See what your man killed out here. Like I'm out here.
Round shovel or a spade?
I'm Davy Crockett out here exploring this wilderness.
Spade? Was it a cross?
It was a straight.
It was a straight spade. Yeah.
And so I show it to her, and then the dead gopher body. I hope there's no gopher lovers out there. Sorry if you are, but it falls off the shovel and kind of rolls down the hill.
Okay.
Fine. I don't care.
See you later.
Heather's not okay with that.
Just a hit.
Because she's like, well, the dogs are going to go down there, and they're going to roll in that dead carcass, come in the house smelling bad. And I'm like, well, you're welcome to take this. You haven't done anything so far. You're welcome to take this shovel and start down the hill here, and you can throw it over the fence.
Unlikely.
Yeah. So she takes a couple steps down, and she stops.
Oh, boy.
And I go, what's wrong? She said, snake. Now, we have a couple of black snakes that I've let hang around.
Pets.
Like, I could have killed them. One was in a cedar tree a couple weeks ago, evergreen tree. But, like, hey, they eat rats and rodents.
Right.
And, I'm like,
not gophers, apparently.
Yeah, apparently not.
As long as they're not in the house.
Yeah. And so, like, I'm like, I've let those go. But I said, well, it's just that black snake. She goes, no, this one looks different. And I said, come back up here and give me the shovel and let me take a look at it.
Let Mr. 98% pick it out.
Mr. Crockett on the case here.
Yeah. So I take a couple steps down, and I'm like, ooh, it's a timber rattler. It's a rattlesnake.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I have not seen a poison snake since I've been here. I know Cooper's Rock across the river has timber rattlers. I had a guy who's a longtime guy tell me those timber rattlesnakes, they stay over there. All we ever get over here is copperhead. This is a guy that's lived here a long time. I guess the snake missed the sign.
Came on over.
Yeah.
Bad GPS.
And so, but because we have 2 dogs and 2 kids, and this is probably 40 feet from my pool, the snake had to go meet his maker. And so,
was it a good battle, or did you take one whack and it was over?
I mean, I told you how many snakes I killed. No. I sent Heather to get a second shovel because he crawled under a rock. So I was going to prop up with one, and get him with the other, right?
This is good.
And then while she's gone, he starts to crawl out. And so I was like, hey, while I got to get it.
It's you and me.
Showtime.
Yeah. So I cut the rattle off. I went full redneck and give it to Mrs. Baker to put in her hat band or something one day. Yeah.
So you kept the rattler.
Yeah. 7 rattles and a button. And
what does that mean?
Every time it sheds, it creates a rattle. So that you can't tell exact age because they shed more than once a year. If I had more time, or it's like for anybody watching at home, I know we got some nature person and, the rattlesnake. It's the state snake. It'd be illegal for me to kill it if it wasn't a threat in my yard.
It was a threat.
It was a threat in my yard.
You got dogs.
And if I had more
and
time
kids.
or my kids were gone, I'd have called somebody and say, hey, can you kind of come get this and relocate it? It's lost. It left this neighborhood over.
So you gave your wife the rattler?
Mm-hmm.
That's an Appalachian engagement.
It is, yeah. So last year I was here. I told the story about the bears.
Yeah,
right.
They were around the neighborhood. Yeah, right in your fence.
And allegedly they're back. They wrecked some trash cans in the neighborhood last night. That's according to Wes Diedrich. Wes is my neighbor. He's over the neighborhood
now,
association.
Wes knows wildlife.
Yeah, he's a lifetime West Virginian and runs NASA out of Fairmont. So
probably no snakes.
Hey, Wren, supposedly you can spray castor oil down a mole hole and get rid of moles.
I've put all kinds of powders and poisons and I've
explosives,
not found anything.
Stuff you've lit.
I've stuck water hose out there and tried to flood them out.
But you haven't used explosives with the smoke that goes through the hole.
No, Tony.
This is very Caddyshack-esque.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
So in 20 years, it's only the second one I ever caught. One time I saw one walking across the yard, and he must have been diseased or something, because normally you don't ever see him. And I ran out there. I pitchforked him. I had,
gosh.
Awesome. I like that.
Yeah. And so, but anyway, so that rattlesnake's no longer a threat to the neighborhood.
Well, I'm with you, dude. The whole thing about when I killed the boar started when if something can hurt you, then I like to kill it.
Oh, Here we go.
The rattlesnake was actually awake, unlike the boar.
Near the house.
Yeah, a threat.
But just so people at home know, I actually love snakes. I'd let this snake go in any other circumstance.
It's a threat upon your family.
If I let that snake go and it bit one of my kids,
that'd be on you.
Would you ever? Have you ever caught a black snake and handled a black snake or anything like that?
I don't like to touch them very much. Even this one, when it was dead. Now, if you've killed a snake, you touch them for hours afterwards, and they the muscles
get some nerves going on there.
Nerves in there, so it'll freak you out, and you'll kill yourself trying to get away.
Do you have copperheads up there?
Allegedly, but I've not seen any. But those are allegedly more common.
Who tells you that? Wes Diedrich tells you that?
People. The guy that helps with my tree pruning and stuff like that. So,
he knows.
Yeah, I got a tree guy.
You got a tree guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Saw a copperhead on the
He goes
Mon
by
River Trail.
Teats, the tree guy. He probably has a different name, but
work for cash.
Yep.
Yeah, I like those guys.
Hey, before we go, and this is not a smooth transition from killing snakes and wildlife, but into the Renfredo, it is sweeping the state.
Yes.
Level of pride in that dish has become so popular.
I tell you what, I'm proud of when people order something that is good for them and that they enjoy it. And I don't try to tell other people how to order their food. If somebody wants red sauce, I'm kind of fine with that. Yeah. If they want Alfredo,
good for you.
Probably has a more sophisticated palate.
Live and let
A couple
live.
people I've been with have mixed the red and the Alfredo.
They call it blush sauce.
Mm-hmm. It's been very
that's
well
my
received.
My daughter Reagan, she's a blush sauce girl.
That's nice.
Yeah. Cool. Tony, you're okay. So let's just go back though before we leave this. Since I've been here, I put in a swimming pool at my house. Okay, when they went to dig it, there were 30 dump trucks loads of coal that come out of there. Then I had a bear come in my backyard and eat out of my backyard. I got that on film. Now I've killed a rattlesnake. I don't know what's more West Virginian than that is over a 3 or 4 year time.
Unless you green feed a deer back there. And take that
might
put
be
him on
next.
a leash with some corn.
Might be next.
Let me do this though. Speaking of being a great West Virginian, mark this day down in your calendar. Friday, July 17. Friday, July 17. The WVU Cancer Institute Golf and Sporting Clays Classic. 3 guys will be there for the 3rd year. Whether you're a golfer, whether you're a sporting clay enthusiast, or you just want to hang out with the 3 guys, this event benefits WVU's Cancer Institute and the Live Like Brent Foundation, helping advance cancer care, research, and patient support throughout the state of West Virginia. We're going to have a golf tournament, sporting clays competition, special guest from WVU Athletics. We can't say who's going to be there?
Efforting.
But we're going to have...
It's not done. We're efforting.
We're going to have
keep moving on. I just said I'm efforting. It's not done. So keep moving.
Don't say it.
We're going to have. No, I'm not going to say who. I mean, we're going to have.
He doesn't know who. That's why he can't say it.
We're going to have.
That's never stopped him before.
Yeah,
we're going to have someone that you would like to hear from that day from WVU. Our goal is to raise more than $100,000 to support the fight against cancer. Ticket and registration information. If you would, Jake, put that slide back up there. Just look it up. WVU Cancer Institute, Live Like Brent, July 17th, somewhere on the interwebs, and it'll come up. We'd love to have you. It's a super fun event.
Great event. Three Guys social media will have all that information.
2 years ago, who did we bring? We brought Jasper Floyd last year. Garrett Green was the first year we did it. Sure. Jasper Floyd was fantastic. We showed up in the parking lot last year. We pull in, and there's this family having a reunion, and they're playing on one of the basketball side courts. And Jasper just fresh in town. So we went over, hey, how you guys doing? Hey, how you doing? Jasper started to like, hey, tell your Paul Pierce story.
Oh, it's a great story.
Have you heard this story about Jasper and Paul Pierce?
Oh. So Jasper this summer, here recently, was out in L.A. visiting, and so he wanted to get a little run in. So he finds a gym, and he heads to the gym to play a little pickup. And he walks in, and he says, oh, there's so, like he started naming 4 or 5 different NBA players, including Paul Pierce was one. And so Jasper walks in and says, okay, well, I'm in the gym. We're gonna line up and play here. And I guess Paul Pierce started on him instantly. The trash talking came immediately like, yo, man, who are you? What are you doing here? You here to ref? You gonna ref it? What are you doing here? Like, just immediately started on Jasper. Jasper's like, no, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna line up and play. I don't know if you're here to play. You're here to ref? Who are you? Where'd you play? Just starts grilling him. So the game gets ready to start, Hoppy. Paul Pierce out top, checks the ball to Jasper. Jasper checks it back and comes right up on Paul Pierce. Like, it's right up in Paul Pierce. Like, you want to know who I am? Here's who I am. I'm going to guard the ball.
How about that?
And Paul Pierce immediately, like, trying to call a timeout. Like, yo, who is this guy? And looks at Jasper, says, why are you all up on me? Back the bleep up, man. Why are you on me? And Jasper said, this is how we're going to play.
Yeah.
This is how we're going to play. Jasper got right up, gave great ball defense as he did all Big 12 season. And
Coach Hodge would have been proud.
Had Paul Pierce, the Hall of Famer, a little ruffled in how he guarded him there defensively.
Jasper's a good dude.
Floyd.
Good story.
I love Jasper. Hey, we probably do have one more really important update.
Absolutely.
Because there's going to be some people, I get asked about this sometimes. Like, how's my wife's car?
I do want to know that, and I apologize.
That has fallen out of the news since your appearance last year.
I do apologize for not asking.
So, Hobby, I just decided to pull the Band-Aid off.
Yes.
And we're rebuilding the engine of the MG. My man Robert.
Down there, where is he down? It's down the interstate
close
somewhere.
to Jane Lou. I forget the
Greater Weston Metroplex.
Weston. Yeah. And he's in the process of rebuilding it right now.
Awesome.
I think Heather said it's going to be ready by July 8th or 9th, he thinks.
Perfect. But, summer driving.
So, like,
perfect.
The costs just keep, but I'm like.
Meters on, baby. Hey, well, I'm glad to hear.
What year is that? What year is it?
I believe 79.
Okay.
79.
That's going to be a classic.
Yeah.
Not that I want.
Yeah, it's classic.
Can't wait to see that out on the road driving around.
Classic invoice. One last thing, off topic, not off topic. Arizona State and Kansas are playing a football game at Wembley. What would make you consider having West Virginia play an international?
Yeah, right opportunity, right time, and right financial incentive. But I think those in limited doses can be a great experience for your players and really an even better experience for your fan base. You're not moving the backyard brawl overseas unless you want to get killed. But the right opponent at the right time, we would consider that. We've been approached some, but it just hasn't been it hasn't made sense for us.
Right.
And it'd have to be in a year where we already had 6 and probably even 7 home games even without that. So there are a couple of years coming up where we have 8 on the books, could you move one of those probably? The right opportunity.
At least to be closer than some of the away games in the league.
Well, that's not true.
See, now, Hoppy, I don't know why
true.
you got to take. See, that's just an old alum right there. And we apologize for him. Sorry about that.
My friend was announced this morning. Actually, his press conference this morning was announced yesterday as the AD at Virginia Tech. And so first thing I did was look up exactly how many days we had possession of the Black Diamond Trophy, and I said, "Hey, congratulations!
Taunt 'em.
I think it's a great opportunity, but just so you know, West Virginia's had possession of the Black Diamond Trophy for, I don't know, it's like 1,370 days. So,
very good.
Yeah,
good job.
It's a good welcome to Blacksburg.
Tony's looking it up right now.
I hadn't seen who got it. So another White.
Yeah, Brian White, Danny White's brother. Yeah, Kevin White's son.
Boy, those Whites, they're in the business.
They are. So Kevin White retired as the AD at Duke, but also was at Notre Dame and Arizona State. Danny is the AD at Tennessee. Mike is the basketball coach at Georgia.
Georgia doing a good job, man.
And now Brian's the AD at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, it's family business. Family business. Well, buddy, we hope you enjoyed yourself. We always do. It's a rite of summer, right? Yeah. And it goes by so fast with this baseball run.
Summer's over.
Football's like, here we come.
Here's what I think I need to do. I need to schedule to do this like 2 times within like a month, so that Hoppy gets all of his questions out. The first one, the second one, I can just sit up here and tell stories and have fun.
The questions were all legit.
They were legit.
Not the first time Hoppy's been accused of taking fun away, but
I had a press conference like a month ago. He could have come and asked those questions.
No. He wants you one-on-one with his legal pad. 3 guys before the game. Special thank you, by the way, to your security staff, Michael Fergale, for bringing you in here and keeping you out of harm's way coming through that parking lot, which sometimes is a little bit dicey. Hoppy's, a little dicey out there. You got
my first time to have a coned off parking spot in all my time.
Well, you've been here a lot. We thought it was time that you got your own parking spot here. Took care of that.
We took care of that. Wanted to make sure you didn't have to park in the middle of the road. 3 guys brought to us by Gomart. Get the Gomart Rewards card. Immediately begin saving on food and fuel. Go to Gomart.com for details.
It's a Blue Light Pass for you.
Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans, award-winning. They sell family fun. Visit them, LouWendellMarineSales.com.
With a contribution, you can have that parking space all the time.
By Tudor's Biscuit World, start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's Biscuit. By Jan Dill's attorneys at law, they won't take no for an answer.
But don't expect to have it every year.
And by WVU Medicine, the exclusive healthcare provider for all Mountaineers, including you. All right, special thanks to producer Jake. 3 guys in the book. Stay well, everyone. Be safe. See you later.
Have a great summer.
Watch out for snakes.